This changes everything for the Milwaukee Bucks as we have a bombshell new report from Shams as it surrounds Damian Lillard. We're going to break that down and discuss what it means going forward ahead of what's going to be a crazy playoff run following what was a brutal game one against Indiana. We also have a bunch of other updates to go over, but before we get into all that, folks, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Bucks content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. This is the best place on YouTube for Bucks content, news, everything. So make sure to stay tuned all the way through the postseason and hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any more time. Horrible game yesterday. Terrible. I discussed it in yesterday's video. The biggest problem with this team is, at the moment, a few different things, but obviously Doc Rivers is at the forefront of it. But let's dive into the huge report that dropped yesterday. Breaking. Damian Lillard is expected to return in game 2 or game 3 versus the Pacers per Shams Charania. And we have a bunch of updates to go over, not just this one, also some other things that came out after yesterday's game. But I want to start with this one surrounding Dame. Now, we saw yesterday, quite frankly, the Bucks, they lacked an ability to score the ball besides Giannis Antetokounmpo. And obviously, there's a bunch of question marks. The Bucks have been playing fantastic basketball in the absence of, of course, in the absence of Damian Lillard. They've been playing good ball. They need Damian Lillard. I've been saying this in the channel for a while. In order to be successful in the playoffs, you really have to have 2 to 3 really good players and 2 stars. We've seen it across the league, or just the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. But regardless of that, you have Damian Lillard now expected to return for game 2 or 3. This is fantastic news if you are a Milwaukee Bucks fan, because we think back to a week or two ago before all these reports came out from Shams about his blood clot. He was going to be probably out for the first round, the foreseeable future, all these different things. And then this drops, and now he's aiming for a return in the next game against the Pacers. And this obviously changes everything, right? Because we saw yesterday, obviously, first of all, Doc Rivers needs to make adjustments. And the starting lineup at the moment has been not working with Taurean Prince, Kyle Kuzma, Brook Lopez. They need to change things up. Kyle Kuzma has not been good whatsoever over the past. Like, he had a good run to end the regular season, shooting like 62% from 3, but he still doesn't fit great next to the Bucks, players and where they actually need to be surrounding this team, right? So it's at the point now where not only are you in an interesting spot as it pertains to your starting lineup, but once you bring Dame back, you'll be in an even better spot. Now, a few different things to go over here. Let's start with, again, the lineup. Now, I saw a bunch of guys in the comment section down below, and we can dive into it here. Dame, Taurean Prince, Kyle Kuzma, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. Now, if Dame returns to the lineup, the biggest question mark is, of course, going to be with A, where Dame fits within the lineup, and B, how things shake up just regarding the rest of the team, because I discussed it in yesterday's video. Taurean Prince probably should be taken out of the lineup. Brook Lopez, he's fine just because, he's getting beaten a lot, but he'll probably stay in the starting lineup just because of history and all these different things. But Brook Lopez is getting absolutely dusted in the on defense from guys like Tyrese Halliburton, even guys like TJ McConnell. He'd blow past Kevin Porter Jr. There'd be no help on the help side because Brook Lopez is too slow to get over there. So if Damian Lillard returns now, I would like to, and they're probably, let's be honest here, they're probably going to run Dame, Taurean, Kyle, Giannis, and Brook. That's probably the lineup they're going to run. But I'd like to see AJ Green and Kevin Porter Jr., one of those two guys, get into the lineup. Now, I don't think Kevin Porter Jr. is going to. I think AJ Green is a much more seamless fit. Literally, you can just try replacing AJ Green with Taurean Prince, and you can even try replacing Garrett Trent Jr., Bobby Portis with Kyle Kuzma because of how bad they've been with him on the floor. But let's assume, because he was there, they traded their pick for him. Let's assume Kyle Kuzma stays. Even switching up AJ Green for Taurean Prince, yes, it lowers your size a lot. But on the other side, AJ Green was lights out yesterday. He was really the best player besides Giannis Antetokounmpo, hitting pull-up threes, corner threes. And with Dame, the gravity is naturally going to, be pulled towards him even more now. It's going to be pulled towards him and Giannis in particular. So if you can get Dame back, and then you have Giannis, and then you surround him with shooters, we saw the best lineup they could be running was Kevin Porter Jr., AJ Green, Garrett Trent Jr., Giannis, and then, whoever else you want to throw in there. If you throw Dame in there, yes, it's not a great defensive lineup. But if you're going up against a team in Indiana who was playing smothering defense against Giannis, but most importantly, they were running you out of the gym. You look at some of the defense the Bucks were playing on Giannis Antetokounmpo. They were basically running like a version of a box and one in the post. You have, of course, primary defender. You have Pascal on the help side. You have Tyrese Halliburton, drop coverage. Like, all these different guys. Not drop coverage there, though. And then, of course, you have everybody else. Even, you look at the far right of the screenshot, even the fifth player is not even near the play in the opposite corner, basically, is ready to help on Giannis because they have no faith in. And guess what lineup is on the floor right now? You have Brook Lopez, Taurean Prince, and it's hard to even see who's in the corner there. But I think it was Kyle Kuzma and Ryan Rollins was the lineup, which is the starting lineup to start the third quarter. It's just not going to work. It's the unfortunate, reality of the situation. Rick Carlisle is a fantastic coach. He's a mastermind, especially defensively in the playoffs, at least thus far. And it makes total sense. No one can hit shots. That's why you have to bring out, of course, AJ Green, Garrett Trent Jr., players like that, and Kevin Porter Jr. can get you a bucket. It's going to make a world of difference. And we see already there's some trash talk between Dame, trash talk between Halliburton. I'm excited for him to come back, but an absolutely bombshell report there. And let me know down below where you'd want to see him in the lineup and how healthy he's going to be is the question. He is fully healthy. He's recovered from the blood clot. It's no longer there. But the biggest question mark now is not going to be how, he's feeling, pain-wise or anything from the blood clot. I mean, it will still be a question, but the biggest question is going to be his conditioning. He wasn't able to work out. He wasn't able to lift weights, anything like that. He wasn't able to do cardio because, of course, it's a serious issue. We've seen it with Christian Koloko. We've seen it with Victor Wembanyama now, who's missing significant time the rest of this season into next season. So he's good now. They did, a medical miracle, as they were calling it, but they need to see how his conditioning is. And I'm expecting a game 2 return, but it could go up to game 3. And based on what he says here, he basically said, I'm coming for you. And you love the trash talk. Now, let's dive into the Kyle Kuzma situation a little bit. See this here, Bucks Kyle Kuzma makes unfortunate NBA history, and this one's a little bit rough. And in case you missed it, you can see this here. The non-Giannis minutes or players and minutes who were available didn't help themselves at all. No Bucks starter scored in double digits. Besides Giannis, of course, 2 Milwaukee starters, small forward Kyle Kuzma and Taurean Prince notched 0 points, and Kuzma line was so bad it was historic. Kuzma finished the matchup on 0 for 5 shooting from the field. We'll have another video on this, of course. Again, he didn't do anything out there, and he got a 20 trillion, which means you put 0 stats up in a certain amount of minutes. Doc Rivers came out after the game and was actually supportive of Kuzma, saying if we don't give him the ball, it's going to be hard to score, which is partially true. But on the other side of things, he wasn't hitting the shots that he was even, the 5 he took. He wasn't hitting free throws. He wasn't hitting anything. So it's to the point now where I am not necessarily off the Kyle Kuzma train, but he has not been playing good whatsoever. And the fact that no starter aside from Giannis scored double digits is a testament to let's change up the starting lineup now. Of course, Dame comes back, you're in a different situation. You're automatically going to have someone else who scores 10 points. But I don't think, a blowout loss is the worst thing for the team. It's going to force Doc Rivers to make serious adjustments. It's going to force him to, throw in different rotations, different plays, different players. Like you're able now to do that. I don't think if they won, they probably would have kept things the same. So hopefully, in a 7-game series, it's fine losing 1 game. That being said, it did show off a lot of the weaknesses for this team, which, like we mentioned, is their defense, their shooting ability in the starting 5. You need to make adjustments because if not, Rick Carlisle is going to continue to do whatever this is, which is quadruple Giannis Antetokounmpo, which in the 4th quarter, when the Bucks started to not do that and when they started to put on their actual shooters, and then Indiana was bound to miss eventually, and they started to miss even more. Guess what happened? They came back and almost made it a game. So it's going to be interesting. But you look at the other side, of the Western Conference. I mean, the Lakers they got pumped. So it's, it's just game 1. It's just game 1. We'll keep you up to date all the way through. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this report, and most importantly, what you think adjustments Doc Rivers will make heading into what's going to be a crazy game 2. Thank you guys for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.